I think it will depend on the order in which everything happens, because in addition to having a disciplinary procedure, a company should have a grievance procedure. So I have the ability to discipline my staff, but they have the ability to make a complaint about me. And if it's that I'm not giving them enough work to do, or I'm not giving them the support, instead of waiting for me to put them through a disciplinary because they are not meeting their targets, they should be coming to me with a grievance and saying, this is going wrong, I'm not getting enough leads, I'm not getting the support, you're not giving me enough expenses to go out and follow this one up, the website isn't working properly because you haven't spent the money on it. Prevention is better than cure. Be proactive. If the salesman has just sat there and done nothing, then they're going to be on the back foot. If they have been proactive and been raising these either formally or informally, then they are going to be in a much better position. So it depends on the order in which things happen. Particularly staff where performance is so important should have an appraisal system. But again, if something's going wrong, you might only have an appraisal once a year. Smaller businesses don't always have the resources, but there should be a mechanism where an employee doesn't have to wait until whenever their appraisal is, or when they're put through a disciplinary for poor performance. They should have a mechanism where they can go to their line manager or somebody in authority and say, this is my problem, how do we fix it? But it has to be a two-way thing. The employee has to have as much ability, or feel they have as much ability, to raise a problem as the employer does. And if they have that ability and they don't take it up, then they only have themselves to blame. But if the mechanism doesn't exist, they can still email and say, I've got a problem, how are we going to deal with this? They can still call a meeting. So if they fail to be proactive, then they have to take the consequences. If the employer has ignored their calls for help, then the employer is going to have a problem with a claim for dismissal. Also depends, of course, on things like their length of service, previous performance. We're up to 2 years now, 2 years continuous service before you can bring a claim for unfair dismissal. So if they've got no proven track record and they've only been there 6 months, their chances of survival aren't great, particularly in the current economic climate.